There we go. Now we can actually start. Welcome, everybody. Today we are talking about taking care of self, talking about self-care. We will still discuss our Know Your Rights dealing with domestic relationships. We will be discussing this topic at a later date. It'll likely be uploaded to our YouTube channel. Today we have Jenn J. She's one of my favorite natural hair YouTubers, and she's awesome. She has been very influential in helping me appreciate not only like my natural hair, but when you appreciate parts of you, you learn to love yourself more. And she has been very influential in my own journey of that. So I'm just so happy she can be here to talk to you guys and just help you with that same journey. Welcome, Jenn.
Hello, thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. I am very honored to be here. Like you said, my name is Jennifer, so I'll quickly introduce myself. I am an influencer in the beauty and lifestyle space. What started as a hobby to love and care for my natural hair developed into more of a passion to encourage other women, especially Black women, women that looks like me, to love themselves, take care of themselves, and to live an inspired life. The content that I create is around natural hair, skincare, productivity, self care in general, really. And the goal is to reprogram those limiting beliefs that we have, those patterns that prevent us from creating a life that is worth living. So that's basically me in a nutshell.
So today, Jen's just gonna talk to you guys about self-care, what self-care really means, like how to implement it into your schedules. Because I know we were talking about how people really try to say they don't have time for self-care, but it's like saying you don't have time for yourself. So she's just going to really talk in general about what those things mean and how she really implements self-care in her daily life. So yeah.
Self care is something that, uh, like you said, it's crucial. It's important. I feel like we don't put enough emphasis on it on a day to day, but really, self care is taking care of you. Like, how are you going to be on this earth and be the best person that you possibly can be if you're not consistently taking care of yourself? And I don't just mean in the physical sense. Of course, the physical sense, I think, um, makes it a bit easier for you to be more confident to put your best foot forward. But I'm talking about emotionally, I'm talking about psychologically, I'm talking about spiritually, like taking care of all of you as a whole. So for me, self-care is the ability to maintain yourself, to care for yourself. um I think with social media, there is a lot of conversation around self care and what it really is, and I feel like sometimes there's a bit of disconnect where people think that self care is so out of reach. Right? We see how luxurious it can be, how glorified it can be. Self care now has the meaning of being in Paris, on a balcony with a newspaper, sipping on a cup of, I don't know, cafe au lait. Like it's just so out of reach. How do I even do that? But I think self care is, if you strip all of that, all the glorification and the luxurious aspect that people have added to it, self care at its core. It's literally the little things that you do every single day that refuels your own tank. So if you can take a car as an example, yeah, the car will take you from point A to point B, but you need to put gas in it. You have to stop at some point to refuel that tank so that you can get where you want to go. So that's how I think about it. So every single day, I do little things, and not just a big chunk of time that I take to do self care. It's more like little things that I do all throughout the day that refuels me as I go. And I mean, I'm talking about, I'll read a book, right? I will go on a walk, or I'll work out. I'll eat right. I'll drink a cup of water, or I'll try to make better choices when it comes to eating. It doesn't always work, but I try. Just like little things like that throughout the day. And at the end of the day, I can look back and say, oh, you know what? I had a good day. I feel accomplished. I did the things that I wanted to do. Or if I need to take time for myself because I am feeling, a little drained, and I make sure that I basically check in with myself every single day and think about what I need and how I can be my best self and how I can refuel myself for the next day. So that's basically what I think of when I talk about self care. It's not something that's luxurious, although it can be. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in Paris with a cup of cafe au lait, right? I mean, I would love that too. But
Oh,
until we
I'll
get
take that any day.
there, I know. But until we get there, let's take care of ourselves on the day to day.
Yeah, I think that's like the really important thing. One thing you talked about is feeling drained. I know that was something I really had to learn, especially with work. It's
Hmm.
like taking off work and actually being like, okay, I can't do this today because at the end of the day, you're not going to be yourself. You're not going to, like, you're just not going to get as much accomplished and you're not going to feel good about it at the end of the day. And so it's just better to take a couple of hours if you need to. I know, like, I work remotely. I've been working remotely for about a year and a half now. And it's been very interesting. And I think the beginning, it was really hard for me to take off days because it was like, well, I'm in the house all the time. So it's just like, well, why do I need to really take off if I'm here?
Yeah.
So I really
It
had to
creates
learn.
culture that
Yeah.
you got to be on all the time working from home.
Yes.
I work from home as well too, and I can see how we can, like, the lines are blurred from being at home and also working. And I will find myself working late at night, 6, 7 o'clock, an email will come in. Oh, I can quickly answer that. But no, you have to disconnect. And one of the things that I've learned a couple of years ago is that no is a full sentence. If I say no, I'm not able to do something, I don't need to rationalize myself. I don't need to say no, because no is a full sentence. And at some point, when you are feeling drained and you're feeling drained, you're just irritated about everything. You're mad at life. Everything bothers you. Someone's breathing, they are breathing
Yes.
too loud.
Yes.
And those are signs that you are burned out, you're exhausted, you just can't be around people, you need to refuel your tank. And at these in these moments, you have to say no, especially when someone needs something out of you. And also understand that you have to say no to certain things so that you can say yes to things that will serve you even more. So if you're saying yes to everything, then it dilutes the value of your yes. So yeah, but working from home makes it very difficult to blur, I mean, to separate the lines, right?
Oh,
To
yeah.
know when you're on and know when you're off, and also when you actually need a day off. I feel the same thing.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, I was feeling a little like I wasn't feeling well, and I was like, maybe I should call in sick. And I'm like, can I even, like, are they going to judge me if I call in sick
Right?
while I'm home? Like, is that a thing still? But if you need the time, you need the time.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. Like that was something I just had to learn. And even if I can't take off, because I know like in law school, in the middle of the day, I would just be tired. And I'm like, I still have classes, I still have to keep going. Like I would do 5 minutes of yoga. Like the library was huge. So like I literally would pick a space like in between some books where there were like no desks, no people, and like do 5 minutes of yoga just to like get my energy back up, get my blood flowing. And it felt great. Like anybody who saw me thought I was weird,
What are you doing?
but I was good for the day. Because it's like, it's just hard. I would get to the law school at like 7 a.m. and not leave to 7 p.m. So it's just like, I can't be on go mode all
All
day.
the time. Absolutely not. Even now, like, I work really long days as well. And ironically enough, first of all, I feel very productive when I work out. So if I wake up and work out, I have a great day. Like, it's just mental clarity for me. Like you said, the blood is flowing. You just start your day at such a good high that, yeah, you get depleted towards the end of the day, but you're not below zero. You're at like
Yes.
45.
Oh, I
And also
agree.
midday too, if I'm feeling, like a little depleted like you, I will go on a run. And it's funny, like I just saying that out loud seems crazy to me because I hated exercising. I hated running. I convinced myself for so many years that, I'm just not a runner. It's not for me. I can't breathe. I don't have endurance. Like I really convinced myself of these things. And, since the pandemic started working from home, I was like, okay, I need to exercise more. I need to move more because I'm home a lot. I'm not moving my body. So yeah, I started going on a midday run, and now I actually just went on a run right before this. Like it's crazy how you start developing a habit the more you do it. But all that to say, I would take like some time in the middle of the day to exercise as well, and that really helps replenish your energy. You will think that exercising will drain you, but it's funny. It's the opposite effect. Like you get the adrenaline rush.
I agree because I'm definitely a morning workout person. Um, and it's so funny because it's like you think of working out and you're like self-care. This doesn't feel like self-care. I don't really want to do it. But sometimes self-care, you don't really want to do it and you have to like build it up and like build your mentality up. Like some people say they work out at night. I cannot work out at night because I will be up for the next 3 hours. Like some people are just like, oh, it puts me to sleep. No,
It's funny,
I'm
that
ready.
was me. For the longest time, I would just work out at night. So with university, like you, I did biochemistry in university. So I was there a lot. And like I would have like 8 a.m. classes. So
Hmm.
and I'm not a morning person. Like I don't like waking up early. That's my thing. I never liked that, and I still don't like it. I try nowadays, but my best days is when I wake up at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. That's me. So in university, I wouldn't want to wake up super early to work out before my classes. So I would actually work out after. But because I would be there all day, I would have 8-hour labs. So I would actually go to the gym at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Oh my
And
God.
and yeah, I did that for at least 3 years, and I actually really loved it. It was basically draining myself and then go home, shower, and then kind of like go to bed. Like it worked out for me. And I mean, the thing with working out, I guess, it's just a matter of doing what works. As long as you
Yep.
do it whenever you want to do it, then it just has to fit into your life. Self-care shouldn't be stressful, right? You shouldn't try to, I don't know, you shouldn't have to do somebody else's self-care. It should
I
be
agree.
yours.
Because
It
when
should
I
be how
first
it
started
works for
going
you.
to the gym, I remember like looking up like this 2 hour schedule and like what to do for 2 hours in the gym. And I'm just like, I don't have 2 hours.
No one does.
So I started doing like 50-minute cycling classes. I love cycling. That is the false narrative of not working out. I feel like I'm not working out. I see results, but I feel like I'm just doing this peaceful
Really?
bike ride. And I don't know why. Like, there's mountain climbers, and it's really hard, but I keep pushing because I feel like the bike is just so much easier than anything else. So, like, I started doing those, and it was just like 50 minutes in the morning, and I was able to shower and like go to class, and it was perfect. And I'm just like, okay, this works for me. Like, even when people say they go to the gym every day, that did not work for me at the beginning. Like, I feel like people need to like start taking baby steps
Yeah.
because I feel like that's how people fall off of like those self-care things. Like,
Absolutely.
even doing face mask, like once a month can turn into once a week because
Yeah, honestly, I really agree with what you're saying. That's something powerful there. Like, allow yourself to be a beginner. A lot of us compare our beginnings to somebody else's middle or even end. Someone that's going to the gym every single day, like, this is your end. Like, you're up here, and I'm just getting started. So maybe I'll do like twice a
right,
week. Maybe I'll do 3 times
right,
a week. Like, allow yourself to start slow so that you can, first of all, develop that muscle so that you want to go to the gym. Because if you're gonna go 5 days a week, I'm gonna have this new schedule. I'm gonna eat clean for five. You may do it for that first week, and then you will fall off for 2 months. You'll be
yes,
exhausted from it. It's not going to feel good. It's forced. You have to allow yourself to start easy. And even when you are going to the gym, don't go lifting 75 pounds. Let's start with 15. Okay, let's start with 10. Let's ease into it and gradually improve, and the improvement is what's going to keep you going. Once you see, oh, I started with 5 pounds and now I can
yes.
do 10. Okay, now I can do 15. Okay, did 3 times last week. Now I'm working up to 4 times this week. That's what really keeps you going is the improvement. But if you're just gonna go in and think that you're gonna work out 5 days a week, 7 days a week,
And
you're
it's gonna
not gonna keep it up.
discourage you. Like it's just gonna discourage you because I remember trying to do that and I'm just like, why can't I finish this? Why can't I do this? And it's just like maybe I'm just not meant to do this. And it's like, no, you're not at this point yet. You're not supposed to be doing this much. How about let's do 2 push-ups because last week we couldn't do any. So and then we can work up to doing 10.
I know, I know. I remember when I first started doing push-ups, like push-ups seemed so out of reach. Like I just
Yeah.
felt like I had no upper body strength. It was like maybe I'm not. My shoulders are not built like everybody else's shoulders. It's just I know for a fact, they don't work.
Yes.
And it's funny because now I could do like 20. It's
Right.
crazy to me how like I've improved over time. Just thinking about it right now, just it baffles to me. Like the improvement really once you start seeing or tracking your progress and seeing your progress, then you get addicted to progress, so you
Oh
keep
yeah.
going. And it's the same thing like you said with face mask, with I think anything that you're trying to implement, better studying habits or working out or better eating habits or even working out that confidence muscle. I want to be more confident. Well, just do it a little bit every day. Do it, think about the things that makes you more confident, look at yourself and have those positive thoughts about yourself and just keep doing it, and over time you'll see that it just comes to you naturally.
I know one big thing I used to do was I would write on my mirror in lipstick. I saw it in a movie and I thought it was super cool. And I just like would legit write I am beautiful on the mirror or I love myself. And it was like super cool. But then it was just so funny because you never realize like how it affects you every day. Because you start to look in the mirror and you have more confidence. And you don't notice it like day 2 or day 3. It's like 2 weeks later and you're now posing when you get in front of the mirror. And it's like, hey. And it's like, okay, where did this come from?
Exactly. So I didn't do the lipstick. I did the sticky notes. So I wrote a little paragraph. You're beautiful. You're
Yep.
strong. I love you, and you deserve good things. I think that's what I wrote, and I put a little sticky in my mirror. So every morning when I go brush my teeth or whatever, I'll look up. That's what I would read. So
Mm-hmm.
then that you read it over and over and over, and you believe it. You don't even read it at some point, but then, like you said, you look up and you're just like, okay, you know what?
Right?
Excuse me, John, like where are we going? Like,
Yes.
it really is like practicing that muscle, like it's a habit that you're just learning. And if you want to keep going, then just keep going. Like do it every single day, little baby steps, and next thing you realize you're more confident. Next thing you realize you have a more positive outlook of yourself. And it's not something that you feel, it doesn't happen like, oh well, today I feel this happened.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Right?
It just you just see it.
Oh yeah. It's crazy because I also think people like compare their like progress to other people and it really like dampers down how you feel, which is a little weird because it's just like you can just really it's self. It's you. You're a unique person. You don't really have to compare yourself to anybody. And I think the craziest thing I've seen the last couple of days, I was watching something. Oh, it was like some like documentary, small documentary on the Cheetah Girls.
Oh,
And
I
it
love
was like, I was like, oh, I love the Cheetah Girls as a teenager. Like, I loved the Cheetah Girls. And it was crazy because I remember her saying, I was 25 playing a 15-year-old girl. And I was like, I remember looking at those girls thinking, why don't I have boobs as big as theirs? Why am I not filled out like them? Because they're grown women. Like,
Oh my God, that is too funny. That is so true. Like if I could go back in time and talk to my younger self, that's definitely
yes.
what I would tell her. Like stop comparing yourself to other people. And the sooner you learn it, the better the quality of your life will be. Because I just
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
at some point we all eventually start learning to stop comparing ourselves, because that's just the thief of joy. You will never be happy if you're comparing yourself, because there's always going to be someone to compare yourself to. And also stop, I guess, listening to what other people have to say about you in a sense, right? Like protect your energy, protect your bubble. And also, yeah, comparison, don't do it.
Don't.
Don't go down that path. We're all
Right?
telling
It's
you
like
not
a
to
race to the bottom. Like,
do it.
because like just hearing that as an adult, it was crazy. Because it's like her saying that, it was like, I'm 25 now. So it was just like when she said that, it was just like 10 years ago, I was pretty much comparing myself to me now. And it's just like, that's not a comparison. That's not something that can actually be done. So it's just, you have to really just hone in that self part of self care.
Absolutely. And I think even with nowadays with social media, I mean, social media can be a good or a bad thing, but it exposes so many people to celebrities or I don't know, influencers or whatever. And a lot of the times you would be comparing yourself, especially body wise. I find a lot of girls compare their bodies to somebody else's body, but their body isn't even real. Okay. They did not, they weren't born with fit
Yes,
bodies, put it that way, right? Like, you have a lot of money, you went to certain doctor, good for you, but that's not even real. That's not what a real body
exactly.
looks like. That's not what a real body feels like. And comparing your real body to someone who isn't even real, like honestly, it's like potatoes and what is the thing? Oranges and apples.
Oh, yep. Oranges and apples and tomatoes and potatoes.
Yeah, it's just not the same thing. Like I think we need to put more like pictures of real bodies out there so that it has more positive effects on the younger generation because the Kylie Jenners, the Kim Kardashians, they're not real. Like stop comparing yourself to them. If you have a little fupa, you have a little, something over there, it's
Yes.
normal. We all have it.
And it's crazy because it's like, even if you watch some videos, they talk about how much Photoshop goes into these pictures. And it's crazy because, like, even stars have come out and started to talk about it. I
Yeah.
remember that one, what was that? I think it was the girl from Harry Potter. Like, she did some shoot and, like, she looked perfectly fine. And then, like, the picture they put, like, actually put out, she looked anorexic.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, you guys made her look sick. Like,
Same thing happened
so
with Zendaya as well. She did the photo
yeah,
shoot, and they completely photoshopped her completely, and she went and released the real picture. And I'm like, first of all, the real picture is so beautiful. Like, who thought that they needed to change it that much, right? And that's a
yep,
toxic culture when it comes to seeing these online pictures, and that's why I wanted to bring that up here too, because we consume so much digital media, right? So many pictures, so many videos. That's all we do is scroll. And the more you start scrolling, the more you start feeling worse about yourself. Like, oh, she looks perfect. Her hair is beautiful, this and that. And it's like you stop taking the time to look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm pretty. My skin is beautiful. My hair is beautiful. So yeah, social media is not the place to compare yourself ever. Like
oh yeah,
any pictures that you see online, you should question if it's real.
oh yeah. And like, it's funny because I remember when I first started like growing out my hair, it was the same thing. It's like literally anything you can take and compare, you're going for a race to the bottom. Because it was like, I remember your video like first popped up, and I was like, why is her hair so long? Where's my hair? And then it's just like, well, she's also been growing her hair for forever, Erin. So how can you be upset that your hair isn't that long? Like,
I was just saying, don't compare your beginning to someone's.
yes,
You're looking at my, oh, her hair is so long, but this is 10 years of me growing
yes.
that hair.
And it was so funny because I was just like, I was watching the videos and I was like binging them. And I was like, oh, this makes sense now. Okay. I now see like the actual growth of her hair through the videos. And it's just like, you can't just go on YouTube and type in some random thing. Even like with the workout videos, like it's just like, what is going on here?
Yeah, you look at someone working out and they're like 15 set, 200 reps, and you're just like, hard
Yeah.
for me. Like, how? But then when you go back, some of them, if you go back and they kept their old videos, you can really see their progress,
Yes.
their body change over time. So really give yourself grace, no matter what you're trying to do. If it's, you're trying to build more self love, self confident, you're trying to be, I don't know, see yourself in a more positive light. Also, give yourself grace. Understand that it's not going to be from day one to the second that you're gonna be confident and whatever. Just know that it's a whole journey, right? Some people it takes them years. Even when you think the example of working out and building your body, it's not going to happen in a week. After you do your 5 workouts and you kill yourself, you will look the same. I guess that's the worst part.
And you're gonna take about 2 weeks off. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, it's just like it's really important, I think, to just make sure you just care about yourself, because I think we are our biggest critics. Like everybody has something to say about everything, but we criticize ourselves more than anything,
That is true.
and that like hurts us more than helps. So just be patient with yourself. Like you're patient with someone you love. Like treat yourself like a 4-year-old child that like, okay, we're not there yet. We're not at the point where I understand all these things.
Always give
So
yourself grace. Like even if you let's say you set out a goal to accomplish something and you don't hit the mark, always give yourself grace because being your worst critic, like society, the world is already so hard on us. They're hard on black women, they're hard on women in general. So don't be the person that adds to the abuse in a sense, right? Just always give yourself grace. Tomorrow is going to be another day. You're going to do better the next day or the next week. Give yourself some time to recharge, right? So if you need a day, if you need a week, allow yourself to have it and then kick butt.
yes, I think that's perfectly said. Well, thank you
And that's
so
coming from
much.
someone who's I was hard on myself for so long. I realized I was just causing. Eventually, I realized, like 10 years later,
Oh yeah.
that I was causing myself a lot of stress. I was putting, first of all, the expectation I had on myself was already so high. So if I wasn't hitting the mark and I was beating myself over, then it created this vicious cycle of just me being mean to me. Like,
Yep.
why would you want that?
Yep.
So don't do it.
I agree. And it's just like once you actually get to the other side, you're just like, why didn't anybody tell me that? Like what?
Girl, breathe. Relax.
It's like why did I do that to myself? Because it's like at the end of the day you only have yourself. You're going to love you no matter what you go through, no matter what you deal with, no matter who decides to stop being your friend or stop talking to you,
I
you're
feel
going to love yourself. So
once you have that, then I just feel like you have such a strong foundation that you can't be swayed right and left, right? If you know yourself, you love yourself, and you're confident within yourself, like you said, people are going to come and go, friends are going to come and go, and that's honestly normal. Like we've all lost some friends, we've all lost some friendship that really hurt us. But guess what? We're still here and we're still strong and we're still moving forward. So once you have that love for yourself, I just think it creates such a great pillar that you can use to build anything else on top of.
oh yeah. And I think like I know a lot of girls struggle with like, oh, you're gonna come together with another person and like be this whole person. No, like skip that phase of life. That is not how it works. Like you have to really know who you are and like really come within yourself, because if you don't know how to love yourself, how will someone else know how to? Because you
And how
can't.
can you communicate that to
Yeah, exactly. You can't tell them, "Hey, I don't like these things. Hey, when you do this, it makes me feel like this." And it's not even just like not being able to find the words, but when you don't have your best interest at heart and you don't love yourself, you're scared to say that, but because you're scared to lose someone. And you
absolutely
have to realize, okay, if it's really that big of a deal for you to like you to leave, it wasn't meant for you to be in my life. Because if I'm telling you something hurts me or I don't like something and that makes you walk away, you can't truly love me for who I am, because you want to continue to hurt me.
Yeah.
And it's
And
hard.
it's important. It's important to talk about, especially when, when you're young and you're just figuring out life, you're just entering these relationships, right? Whether it's like a romantic relationship or friendship, and you have people around you. I always say, before anybody starts to date, before you start getting into these romantic relationship, know yourself, understand yourself, and I mean really know who you are, know what bothers you, know what doesn't bother you, know what you will allow, know what you will absolutely not allow. And all of that has to come from a place of love, right? From
Yes.
you loving and understanding yourself, and knowing, I deserve better. I want this. I'm a good person and I deserve good things. So once you really understand yourself at your core, then you can go ahead and date, because it'll be easy to, I don't want to say weed out the bad crowd, but that's basically it. You be able,
Yeah, like that's
it's
a
easy to
good.
say, like, that's not it, that's not the person I want to be with. And also communicate, this is who I am, this is how I like things, this is how I want things, this is where I want to go in life, this is the vision that I have for my life. Then you can communicate that to someone and see if it's a good fit, if it's going to mesh. There's nothing worse than dimming your own light just so you can be next to someone or in someone else's presence, because you'll never be happy, right? And if you're not happy, then how long is this relationship really going to last? You shouldn't lose yourself in
Yes,
a relationship.
exactly. And just because the relationship doesn't work out, it's not something wrong with you. It's not something wrong with them. Sometimes you guys just don't vibe enough to be together. It's like maybe we should just be friends because our core values just don't match.
And
That's
sometimes it
perfectly
may not
okay.
really, like, it could work, but both of you don't know yourselves,
Right?
so you can't be there for someone else. You're not ready.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's so much because I feel like everything we do in life is built off the love we have for ourselves. Because when you have like that self love and that self worth defined, it really like defines what you will accept, what you won't accept. And I remember hearing the saying like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And it's like it wasn't in this like type of setting that it was talking about it, but it fits because it's like when you don't stand for the things you deserve, you'll take anything.
You'll
You'll fall for anything. You'll
Yeah,
let anyone treat you a certain way because you aren't treating yourself the way you
yeah,
deserve.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
There's something that you said there that I wanted to expand on just a little bit. You said once you have self love, self worth defined. So I wanted to maybe define these words specifically for whoever's listening. Um, in my opinion, obviously, I feel like self love is the state of appreciation that you have for yourself, and that grows from actions that support your physical, psychological, like your spiritual growth. So to me, self love means having like a high regard for your own well being and happiness, right? So you're not going to, um, like, you'll take care of your own needs without sacrificing your well being in order to please other people. So it's basically like your view of yourself, how you appreciate yourself. And that comes from the actions that you do to show yourself that you love yourself. So with self worth, I would say it's the more like it's the opinion that you have about yourself and the value you place on yourself. So an example would be, I'm a good person and I deserve good things. Or, if you believe that you're a bad person and you believe and you deserve bad things. I mean, self-worth doesn't it's not always positive, right? Like we can view ourselves as someone who's less than, who doesn't deserve. Hopefully you don't. And if you do, then we gotta do a little bit of work to get you up there, girl. But that's how I would define self-worth. And self-confidence is the attitude that you have around your skills and the abilities that you have. So it means you accept yourself, you trust yourself, you have a sense of control of your life. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, and you're just confident with who you are. So I feel like all three terms, they work well with each other, because once you love yourself, then you have a good sense of your self-worth, then you can really build your confidence around around all of that. So it's really important to understand these terms and also work on being or work on loving yourself, working on improving your self-worth and also on your confidence, and that will put you in such a better area in life. Like it will control your relationship, it would determine um the quality of your life in a sense. So I
Yeah,
want to take the time and define them real quick, you know.
I think that's awesome. Like, because I completely agree. Because I think a lot of people merge them to be the same thing,
Hmm.
but they aren't. They do work together, but they aren't the same thing. And it's
Yeah,
always important to really like splice them up and
yeah,
just really work on them within yourself. Because I feel like a lot of, especially Black women, confuse confidence with cockiness because of how the world has like displayed it. And I'm here to say confidence is not cockiness. Cockiness is when you don't know your weaknesses and you only play up your strengths.
yeah.
But if you are confident, you know your strengths and you know what you should and shouldn't accept, but you also know where your flaws are and you are working to like grow them and like repair.
Absolutely.
So yeah, do
Yeah,
not do not feel like your confidence should be smothered because you think you're cocky.
yeah. Cockiness, you're living in la la land. You actually don't
Yes.
understand yourself. You don't know your like the whole picture. You're running with one side, whereas weaknesses are also important. It doesn't make you weak. I know like the word weakness, people hate to even admit them, but admitting them isn't a bad thing. It's just it really shows how much you know yourself and it knows the areas that you lack. But until you actually admit your weaknesses, you won't be able to improve on them. So they're not bad or don't shy away from them. It's just it's who you are, right? You can definitely improve
Yes.
on them, but you gotta start doing the work by understanding positive, negative, or weaknesses.
Yes, I agree. Thanks so much, Jen. I'm so excited. Like, this was awesome for me because I talk back to you on my TV all the time and we have random conversations because I feel like you're talking to me on your videos. So, this is like awesome to just sit here and really have a conversation with you. So,
Absolutely.
thank you.
I'm very passionate about talking about, this topic just because it just means a lot to me, right? And like every piece of content that I put out, I hope that it inspires someone or help them in some way, shape, or form. So I know with self care, it's something that's huge, because taking care of yourself, that's the only way that you're going to live a fulfilled life. And I mean, people say life is short, but I don't know. I feel like life is quite long. I've
I
been
always say life is the longest thing you're going to do.
exactly.
So,
So make sure that it's the best thing that you are going to do. And that means learning yourself, building your self love and confidence. And there's a few things you can do to build your confidence too. Like first of all, like I always say to act as if you are already confident, right? Like so start building the muscle and by it's like going to the gym. You don't know how to do I don't know, use the dumbbells, but start by using them. So act like you're confident. So whenever you wish you had a certain qualities, practice it. As if you already have it. If you want to look more confident, walk with your shoulders, back, head high. Do your thing so that you practice it over and over. So if you feel like you shy at school, for example, or shy in class, then actually raise your hand to answer the questions. And I know that's scary. I know you start sweating, but at the end of the day, like no one actually cares as much as we rationalize it in our mind, right? So my first point to build more confidence will be to act as if you're already confident and also look at yourself differently. No matter how you feel, try to find like one thing you like about yourself, right? Could be I like my hair, I like my eyebrows, I like my eyes, I like my lips, just little things, and that you can say. I like my sense of humor. I like my taste in music. It doesn't have to be physical, but just like look at yourself differently and speak about yourself in a positive light. And that's my next point. Watch your words because the thing that we say, words are so powerful. Obviously words affect other people as well. They can cut really deep, but they can cut ourselves really deep. So if you keep talking down at yourself, keep saying that I'll never be able to do this, I'm just not good enough, like it keeps you down versus I don't know how to do this yet, but I will learn, or I'm willing to try, or I'm willing to do something in a different way. So the way that you express yourself really makes a difference in how you feel. And what else can I say in terms of building confidence? Try something new, right? That's how you'll find out things that maybe you're good at or not good at. And I mean, it doesn't have to be something dramatic. It could be taking a different route to school, or joining a team, or I don't know, reading out loud in class. Like I said, it's scary, but at the end of the day, a day or two, even if you mess up, no one's going to remember. Like life goes on, like don't stay or wallow so much in something that happened, whereas there's so much that happens in the day that we can focus on. There's so many positives, but usually we'll focus on one thing. This happened and my day is ruined. 24
Yeah.
hours ruined because of this 10-second interaction with someone else. like
You just ruin your whole day.
my week is ruined because this boy did not talk to me. It makes no sense. So
Yes.
yeah, don't allow yourself to, don't allow your thoughts to take over you. Basically just nip it in the bud if it's negative. Okay, this happened, I'm going to put a pin in it, leave it here, and focus on more positive things. And for me, listening to music really helps too. If you put on Beyonce song, guaranteed you will feel 10% more confident. um
Any like high intensity song? Oh
I
yeah.
know, I would say Cardi B, but depending on how old you are, or
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that definitely gives some confidence and like Meg the Stallion. But depending on how old you are, you might need to listen to the clean version of
I
those songs, which are a little confusing, to be honest.
I know. Anyway, all that to say, changing the way you think, controlling your thoughts, listening to music, trying something new, watching how you speak, watching your words, look at yourself differently, and act as if you're already confident will definitely help you build more confident over time.
And don't be afraid to fail because I feel like
Yeah,
that's like what holds a lot of people back
yeah,
is being scared of the possibility of failure. And in reality, you'll never know what success feels like if you don't know what failure feels like.
absolutely. You're robbing yourself of the chains of success
Yeah.
as well. What is it that Michael Jordan said? You
It's you miss
you miss 100% of
every
the shots that you,
yep, you don't take.
and that is so
Yeah.
powerful when you think about it. I watched his documentary actually, maybe like during the pandemic. I want to say last year, and the only reason why I watch it, I'm not even into basketball like that. I only watch it because my fiance is into basketball. So when it came out, he was like, "Oh, we need to watch Michael Jordan documentary." I was like, "Who? What? Why?" Anyways, so I watched it, and first of all, he is so inspirational. Now I'm like, I love Michael Jordan. Like, where was I when he was playing? Anyways, and he was just all of the things that he was saying, just his work ethics and how he went about his day to day, and how he would say, he lives in the present. Everything that he do, he's in the moment. So if he's practicing for whatever game, he's 100% there. If he's with if he is with his family, he's 100% there. He's on a phone call, he's 100% there. Like just focusing his energy to give his all in the things that he's doing in the moment. I just felt that so powerful, right? So anything that I do, like right now, I'm 100% here. And like I try not to multitask as much as I used to, because I thought that was, effective, but it really
Right? It's
drains you.
not.
It's not, it drains you if anything, and makes whatever task you're doing 3 times longer. So I try to
Mhm.
focus on the things that I'm doing. If I'm doing self-care, it's me. My phone is off or somewhere, and I'm taking my time. I'm taking care of me. You should see me. It's a whole thing. I do my skincare. We start with hair.
Yes.
It's a whole thing. But I try to focus my energy. And like you said, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So don't be afraid of failing. And a lot of time you learn so much as you fail that it's not even a failure anymore. Like it's
Yeah.
just valuable.
Yeah, and it's just experience. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'll get it next time. It just wasn't meant to be. Like one thing I find very, very interesting. I saw this randomly and I'll never forget it. So apparently, Meg the Stallion applied like or tried out, auditioned, whatever we call it, like to be on Love and Hip Hop.
Mm.
And they turned her down. I thought that was one of the most like that was just something I found to be very important to really stress the fact that some doors that close
Mhm.
open other ones. Cause it's like if she really did love and hip hop, would she be like the
Meg Thee
household name she
Stallion.
is? Like what exactly would she be Meg the Stallion? So it's just like she probably was really hurt that she got turned down. And now look at her. So
Yeah,
it's just like, yeah, failure might seem like failure, but at the end of the day, it might not be. It might be another door opening for you because that's not the path you're supposed to go down.
absolutely. You never know. I don't know. Life is so interesting. One thing that I used to tell myself when I was in university is that it always works out. So whatever's happening, and I really feel the anxiety just picking up, and like, oh, it's not working out how I wanted to work out, or whatever it is that I wanted to do is just not happening. I would repeat it literally out loud to myself, like, Jen, it always works out. It always works out.
Uh-huh.
Say it over and over and over until like I really believed it. Because I remember this one time I was driving to school a university and it was an exam, right? And like there was, I don't know, some accident, whatever it was. And I was extremely late and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fail this class.
Yes.
So I'm freaking out in the car. I'm like, it always works out. It always works out. And like just really like hyperventilating and saying it to myself. And I got there, first of all, everyone was late because it was a major accident. The teacher was late. Like
On
it worked.
purpose.
Yeah, so like I was really giving myself a lot of stress for no reason. So even now I still tell myself if I don't get something, or I mean in my influencer work, right, it's very up and down. Things work out, things don't work out. I will repeat it to myself again. It always works out because the path that you think you want to take may not be the path that you should take. So
I agree
it's
so
going
much.
to work out.
Yes, it'll always work out. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank
Thank you
you.
for
This
having
was a great conversation and I loved it. I hope we can do this again someday. Like this is awesome. Um and yes, I just appreciate you so much because I feel like a lot of people really don't understand self-care. So to actually find people who stress self-care and talk about it and really do want to like get the masses to understand what self-care is a rare find
me.
because no one's talking about it. Just like when you find someone who talks about mental health to the Black community, it's like those rare finds where it's like, okay, these are things we need to talk about. How do we talk about them? How do we bring them out? So thank you so much.
I appreciate the work that you're doing. I think I told you that before. Working with the youth is so important. That's how we break this generational curses, right? By talking about things that weren't talked about when we were younger,
Yep,
and just shaping a better future.
I agree with you so much.
Well,
So
thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
thank you so much. And thank you, everybody who's going to watch this video later on. Next week, we'll be talking about taking care of self, understanding feminine health with Kaisha Wallinson, who is my beautiful cousin. She's also my fellow board member and a traveling nurse. And I think starting this fall, she'll be starting a school to pursue her doctorate in nursing. So we'll talk to her next week about that. Thank you, everyone. Hope you all have a good week. Bye, Jen.